All right, we're back and it's day 3. I just wanted to start again with the course calendar. For this whole week, we're working on the analysis essay and we're analyzing the persuasive appeals of a speech. On the first day, we were brainstorming, and that was learning about logos, pathos, and ethos, because those are going to be the topics that we cover. So we were making sure we understood all of the things that were going to go into it. Yesterday, we looked at outlining, and I think some of you were a little confused about that. An outline is just a list or a map of all the ideas that you're going to talk about. You're not writing the essay yet, you're just making your list of paragraph ideas. Today, for homework, you're going to start drafting, and then tomorrow, we'll work on revision. We'll do a little bit of revision and then we'll make the corrections. So the essay will not be due until after July 10th. So we're just working on all of the short steps right now. Okay, so for today, we need to talk about APA citation. You should have chosen your video yesterday, so now we can start making the references page for that video. And that's what I want to talk about today. Okay, please take a look at this calendar if you're confused about what we're doing or where we're going. All right, there's 3 things that I need to share with you today. The first one is just a quick review of what APA citation is. The second thing is going to be our school's website that has some information about citations. And then the third thing I want to talk about is another website that has good APA information. So let's start with number 1. APA citations are what we use. And I want to make sure that we understood these 2 terms. Cite just means to quote. It's a verb, it's an action, like I cited Will Smith in my essay. And that just means I used his words or ideas in my essay, I quoted him. The citation is the actual thing, it's the noun, just like a quote can be a thing. So I included a link next to my citation of Will Smith, which means I wrote down the important information from my source. So that important information is my citation. It's a little bit confusing, but I just wanted you to understand that there's 2 different words that we're talking about here. So in terms of citation, there's 3 different styles that people use, and every field kind of has its own style, so that everybody who's doing research or conducting experiments in that field is kind of giving their sources the same way. It's really important in research because other people who are interested in your research might want to find those original sources and read them for themselves. So the 3 styles are APA, and this stands for American Psychological Association. It's usually used in these fields. MLA is the Modern Language Association, and it's usually used in these fields. Now, because English is a humanities, normally I would teach MLA, and for the first few years that I was a teacher, I did teach MLA. But because so many of my students are studying science or medicine or technology, I started teaching APA because my students are actually going to use this more. For my class, they should be using MLA, but because this is the thing that they're going to get more use out of, I just switched over to teaching this one. Chicago's the 3rd style. It's primarily used for journalism. You probably will never have to deal with it. So again, these sets of rules make sure that everyone in a particular field is giving their sources the same way. Okay, so here's an example. In the actual body of my essay, I might have a sentence like this. The speaker said Black Lives Matter. And then I have this little shortcut right here that has the author's name and the date. Okay, I'm not putting all of the source information in the middle of my essay because it would make my essay 20 pages long. I just put a little shortcut so that I could go to the end of the essay and find all the information about that source if I want to. So if I had read this in an essay and I was like, oh, I wanna watch that video, I wanna see what Will Smith said, I would go to the end of the essay and there would be all of this information. So the point is, whatever is the first word here in the body of your essay needs to be the first word in your citation at the end of the essay, because that way I can easily find it. So all of this information here, there's a lot of pieces of information. and I sort of listed them. There's actually another page to this, but I started listing them. The first piece of information I need if I'm going to find this source later is the author's name. And I put their last name and then the first letter of their first name. The next piece of information I need if I was going to try to find this source is the date that it was published or the date that it was made available. Every single time I put a new piece of information, I put a period at the end. So I also put a period at the end here. Okay, I have the author, I have the date. The next thing I need is the title of the article. This one's not an article, it's a video, but the same thing applies. I have the title of the video right here, A Conversation on Being Black in America with Angela Rye. Okay, information 4 and 5 is just the title of the website and the link to the website. So I've got the title of the website here, and then I'm not going to click on the link because it's going to take me there. You should leave it as an active link. Okay, so if I went to the end of someone's essay and I saw this, I should be able to find the source. Most likely I'd use the link, but if the link is broken, I could go to YouTube and I could search this title, right? I have been publishing a lot of videos lately on YouTube, and this one, for example, is on APA Citation, but I bet there's a lot of videos that are on APA Citation or that might have the same title as my video. So it's important that I put the date of the video and who published it. Okay, so that was our first piece of information. That's a brief review of APA Citation. We're going to cover 2 more things, the citation style guide and an online resource for you, but I'm going to do that in another video.